This segment is sponsored by Golden Wealth Strategies. When people hear the words estate planning, they often think it's something reserved for the very wealthy or something they can put off until later in life. But estate and legacy planning can be important for almost anyone who owns a home, has retirement savings, or simply wants a say in what happens to the people and the causes they care about. Joining me today to talk more about this is Jacqueline Shattuck with Golden Wealth Strategies. Hey, Jacqueline, thanks for being here today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. All right, so let's just start with the basics. What exactly is estate and legacy planning?
This is a fun conversation to have because so many people are planning for generational wealth, but we leave out the estate and legacy piece. Estate planning is a process that you put in place to make sure that your wishes are carried out if you are incapacitated or if you're no longer with us. And why that's a big deal is because when you're planning for generational wealth, you want your kids, your family to inherit your things, you have to put a plan in place to make sure that they actually receive those things. Because the reality is you have an estate plan, a plan for you if you're no longer with us. That plan is in place whether you create it or the state gives it to you. And you're probably not going to like the one that the state gives you.
Right, I have heard that. Okay, but what about for those people who say, well, I don't really have a complicated estate. I don't have a lot of assets. I don't have a lot going on. Do I still need one? What do you say to that?
It's an interesting question because everybody in America actually needs estate documents by the age of 18. And I know we were here in the studio talking about kids, right? Kids going to college. So once a child becomes 18, they are now an adult. And when they are an adult, that means they are supposed to make their own decisions. So even though we love them so much and we care about them and we would do anything for them, we legally cannot. And so it is important that we have these documents in place. When I'm talking about the documents, I'm talking about trust, wills. Specifically for young people, we want powers of attorney so that we can act on their behalf for their health care or their finances if something happens.
Okay, this is sounding very important, and I'm thinking, gosh, do I have those things in place? I'm so glad you're talking about this. You mentioned the will. You hear these stories about people who pass away and their stuff is not in order. I know the actor Chadwick Boseman passed away, and what does that tell us? Stories like that, people who don't have wills in place or their proper documents, what does that tell us about why they matter so much?
This is a hard conversation to have, but in my opinion, it shows how much you love the people around you, that you are willing to put a plan in place for them to be taken care of if you're not here. And at Golden Wealth Strategies, one of the things that we do for all of our clients is we talk about your estate plan and what's going to happen to you if you no longer can care for yourself. Because it is one of the biggest signs of love to others to say, hey, I'm going to put this plan in place. All right. For example, I have a client, her husband passed prematurely, 56 years old. Nobody was expecting him to go. And when he passed away, he had put a plan in place for his wife that said, hey, these are the assets, these are the things that I've been doing, and I want you to continue that. And he had put that plan in place 15 years before he passed. But she had a roadmap of what to do upon losing her loved one, and that's huge, and it really shows that you love the people around you.
Yeah, that is huge. Talk about a trust real quick. What is the difference between a will and a trust?
Yeah, it's a great conversation. So both documents are to be put in place for after you have passed, all right? So the trust can help you to actually avoid probate, which is huge because probate is the process that is going to cost you a lot of time and a lot of money to get your loved one who's passed assets into your name. Now, in this area, in the DC area, it's cost on average $20,000 to go through probate, and it takes an average of 20 months. So if you don't want to have to go through a 20-month, $20,000 process, you can put in place a trust. And a trust will help you to bypass that process. So we're talking about investing a few $1,000s to save your family potentially 20 grand.
Okay, that makes too much sense. Thank you so much for walking us through all of that. Really
Glad
appreciate
I could be
it.
here.
Yeah. If you've been putting off estate and legacy planning, now may be a good time to take that first step. Jacqueline Shattuck and the team at Golden Wealth Strategies can help you understand the financial considerations involved in preparing for the future and organizing the legacy you want to leave behind. To learn more and start the conversation, call 571-429-4877 today or visit goldenws.com.